So now you have the floor again, Ma'am Rohina Garma.
During these hearings, I was asked several questions concerning my knowledge or involvement in the deaths of 3 Chinese inmates at the Davao Penal Colony and the death of General Wesley Barayuga, all focusing on the alleged extrajudicial killings of the aforementioned individuals. I was also questioned about my relationship with the former president, as well as my career as a police officer and my tenure as a GM of the Philippine Charity Sweepstakes Office. Throughout the hearings, I answered questions from the committee based on my personal knowledge. However, I did so with great apprehension as I recognized that my statements on national television could significantly endanger my life, the safety of my family, and others close to me. After considerable reflection, I am now executing this affidavit to provide a comprehensive information to the Quadcom regarding everything I personally know about the war on drugs during the former administration. On May of 2016, I received a call from the then President Rodrigo Duterte at approximately 5 in the morning, instructing me to meet him at his residence in Doña Luisa, Davao City. I was already acquainted with then Mayor Duterte, having served as a station commander in one of the police stations in Davao during his tenure. During our meeting, he requested that I locate a PNP officer or operative who is a member of the Iglesia ni Cristo, indicating that he needed someone capable of implementing the war on drugs on a national scale, replicating the Davao model. The Davao model referred to the system involving payment and rewards. The Davao model involves 3 levels of payments of rewards. The first is the reward if the suspect is killed. Second is the funding of planned operations. Third is the refund of operational expenses. Initially, I informed the President that I was unaware of any individual with those qualifications, as I had not been assigned outside of Davao, nor had I served in a national capacity with the PNP. However, I recalled my upperclassman, Edilberto Leonardo, who was handling the Criminal Investigation Detection Group and was also a member of the Iglesia ni Cristo. I mentioned his name to the President. On the same day, a certain individual named Muking contacted me by the phone to request Leonardo's contact details, which I promptly provided. A week later, I learned from Arthur Narsolis via phone call that Leonardo had been summoned and was instructed to proceed to Royal Mandaya Hotel for a meeting. Leonardo informed me that he stayed at the hotel for 3 days, during which the President directed him to organize a task force similar to PAOK-TF. When Leonardo relayed this information and urged me to join the task force, I declined, citing my lack of experience in handling such operations. Leonardo subsequently informed me that he had prepared a proposal routed through Bongo outlining the task force operations, which would encompass Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. He also inquired if he and his classmates could have a courtesy call with the President through Bongo for a photo opportunity. Considering this, I thought it would be prudent also to invite my classmates, Bakay, Villela, Grijaldo, Tuzon, and Dueñas, to join the courtesy call. The members of Class 97 and Class 96 of PNPA were accommodated in a separate room at the TPWH office in Panacan, Davao. The President did not enter our room. and I was unaware if he visited the room of class 96. This is 96, sir, not 97. After the courtesy call, Leonardo informed me that the structure of the intended task force would undergo changes. In June of 2016, Leonardo was transferred from Manila to assume the position of the chief of the CIDG in Region 11. During the initial 3 months of this assignment, I facilitated all meetings between Leonardo and Bongo at Leonardo's request. Subsequently, they established direct communications. Leonardo informed me that he had recalled several trusted personnel, namely, I met Lester Berganyo, Romel Bactat, Rodel Serbo, Michael Palma, and Peter Parungo to serve as operatives for the task force. Notably, Romel Bactat, Rodel Serbo, and Michael Palma were all discharged as police officers. Romel Bactat and Romel Serbo, Michael Palma were all former police officers stationed at CIDG 11 office. They were discharged from service on or about a year ago due to an operation that led to the killing of one individual. Lester Berganyo is a private citizen, while Peter Parungo was a former detainee in CIDG due to a charge of rape that has been cleared. Romel Bactat, Rodel Serbo, Michael Palma, and Peter Parungo were charged with the task force of collecting, verifying informations provided by police officers in the field concerning arrests or deaths of individuals named in the list of drug personalities, and creating a summary report. All of these reports would then be encoded, compiled by Lester Berganyo. The compilation is thereafter elevated to Leonardo, who will then decide what level the arrest or killing was and its corresponding reward. Rewards were only given for killings, while for arrests, only the funding of the COPLAN and a refund for the expenses was given. I saw how this individual operated when I would visit the CIDG office in Region 11 to see my friend Lot Lot. He also conveyed to me that the task force would be structured differently, in that he submitted a document to Bongo detailing the task force operation, including an overview of the current drug landscape in the Philippines. I was also informed that the drug structure originated from Bucor, where numerous drug lords are currently incarcerated, and that it has 3 branches, Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao, with Peter Lim involved in the Visayas region. Once the task force became operational, I later learned that all COPLAN funds, refunds for operational expenses, and rewards for agents were processed through the bank accounts of Peter Parungo at Metrobank, BDO, and PS Bank. Concurrently, Lester Berganyo maintained a comprehensive list of the drug personalities in the Philippines. Leonardo conducted briefings for all PDEA, IG, regional directors, and PNP chiefs regarding the operations. Additionally, if any individual died during police operation, Leonardo would report the incident to Bongo for inclusion in his weekly report and request for refunds of operational expenses. Leonardo had the final authority to determine who would be included on the list of drug personalities and to classify their threat levels, as well as the discretion to remove individuals from the list. Furthermore, in 2016, while I was at the CIDG office, following up on personnel appointments, I overheard Superintendent Padilla of Bucor discussing drug activities at the Davao Penal Colony with Leonardo. Padilla specifically mentioned certain Bucor officers involved in the drug trade, notably mentioning an officer named Ginto, who was subsequently killed along with other Bucor members. These are the critical facts I personally know regarding the drug war of the previous administration. I am prepared to provide additional details and information in the supplemental affidavit or during an executive session at the discretion of the committee. I affirm the truthfulness and accuracy of the above statement to assist in the investigation by the Joint Committee on Dangerous Drugs, Public Order and Safety, Human Rights, and Public Accounts of the Honorable House of Representatives, the Quadcom. Mr. Chair.
Tapos na po kayo, ma'am?
Yes,
Garma.
Mr. Chair.
So on that note, ma'am, maraming salamat ulit sa pagbasa niyo sa inyong affidavit. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Congressman Gonzales. So the first to interpellate Colonel Garma is Congressman Raul Manuel. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, I'm actually shocked by the contents of the affidavit. So I'll be asking clarificatory questions. I'll be focusing dun sa nabanggit na reward system, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, sa affidavit ni Colonel Garma, binanggit niya na siya ay dating pinatawag ni former President Rodrigo Duterte. Nung pinatawag siya, ibinahagi ba yung plano na i-implement nationwide yung war on drugs? Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, nung mayor si former President Rodrigo Duterte sa Davao, implemented na doon ang war on drugs based sa kung paano natin siya ngayon napoperceive. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, Mr. Chair, at least ngayon, buti po ay na-admit iyon ni Colonel Garma dahil nung nakaraang mga pagtanong po natin ay hindi pa agad din yon na napuput on record dito sa komite. At least po ngayon ay alam na po natin talaga once and for all. Mr. Chair, nung station commander si Colonel Garma, nung panahon ni former President Rodrigo Duterte as mayor, ibig sabihin po ba nun ay, given her role, isa po siya sa mga nag-implement ng war on drugs sa Davao. Tama po ba iyon, Mr. Chair?
Paki-clarify mo lang yung question.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, ang tanong ko po dahil naging station commander po si Colonel Garma noong Davao Mayor si Rodrigo Duterte. So ibig sabihin po nun, given her role, ay isa po siya sa mga nag-implement ng war on drugs sa Davao.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, nag-implement po siya nun dahil kasama po siya dun sa mga na-mention kanina from NUPL, yung Davao Boys and Girls. Tama po ba, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, can I explain my answer, Mr. Chair, so that maintindihan po ni Congressman?
Sige.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Operations.
Pakilapit lang po yung microphone
Yes,
sa inyong bibig.
This is how it works actually. Pag mag-conduct po ng police operation, kasi po ang police, if the operation po is successful and you file the case in court, you will submit a report sa City Hall monthly at nakalagay po doon na na-file po yung kaso, nakalagay din po yung IS number po, proof na na-file po yung kaso and the details of the case. And once isubmit mo to, yung operational expenses po ay nare-refund. That's 5,000 pesos per case po, per operation. Ngayon po, kung malaki po yung operation mo at kailangan mo ng operational fund, gagawa ka ng COPLAN, you will also request po sa City Hall for the funding of the operation plan. Now, in case din po na nagkaroon po ng operation and subsequently po nagkaroon po ng death on the part of the suspects po during a legitimate operation, meron din pong corresponding amount po na binibigay, Mr. Chair. So that is how it works po.
So, Mr. Chair, ibig sabihin ay totoo ngang merong Davao Boys and Girls na nagpatupad ng war on drugs. To confirm, Mr. Chair, tama po. Na yun yung mode of operations as described. Tama po ba? Yun yung kinakonduct, yun yung ginagawa nitong Davao Boys and Girls.
Ganun po yung sistema po ng how you will refund yung operational expenses. Kung ano po yung tawag nila at ano po yung ipinangalan, ay for me, it's not relevant as long as yung process on how the funds are being provided po, yun po yung ina-explain ko lang po. If that is how po ang pag-perceive, that's how it is politically described po, then that's it po.
Okay, Mr. Chair, dun sa reward system, kasi nasa affidavit din po, na nire-refund ang operational expenses, tapos may funding din para sa planned operations, ito yung co-plan, tapos may reward din kapag napatay yung suspect. Tama po ba, Mr. Chair?
Yes po, Your Honor.
Mr. Chair, may nakuha po kasi tayong impormasyon, although nung mga nakaraan ay parang haka-haka lang siya, pero ngayon na nag-hold tayo ng investigations ay nakakakuha po tayo ng mga sources na pagdating po dun sa reward system ay kapag ang napatay ay isang pusher, yun yung tinatawag na level 1, tapos 50,000 ang reward. Mako-confirm po ba yun ni Colonel Garma, Mr. Chair?
Mr. Chair, I am not so familiar po sa specific amounts. But true, there is a amount po per level. I think Colonel Leonardo can explain po kung ano yung specific amount. Kapag baka magkamali po akong sasabihin na 50 nga o 100 o 1 million yun. But there is a corresponding amount per level, Mr. Chair.
Sige. Mr. Chair, sa information na nakuha natin ay merong 4 na levels. Yung level 1 ay 50K para sa pusher. Kung napatay ay pusher. Kung big time pusher naman ay yun yung level 2, 100K. Tapos kung narco-cops, narco-politicians, or protectors ay 300 to 500K. Tapos kapag trader, manufacturer, chemist, yung mga ninja cops, or mga financiers, yun yung level 4, 1 million yung reward kapag napatay sila. Familiar po ba iyon kay Colonel Garma? Yung ganong leveling and amounts?
May amount po, Mr. Chair, from what I understand, starting 20,000 to 1 million. But I'm I'm not familiar sa mga bracketing po, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, yung 20K, yun po yung mga street level or mga small time na natatag na involved sa drug trade. Tama po ba?
Most likely kasi yun po yung pinakamaliit na amount as far as that's I know, Mr. Chair.
And to compare, Mr. Chair, yung mga napatay dun sa Davao Penal Colony ay dahil ang kanilang task di umano doon sa drug trade ay yung pagiging mga chemist. Kaya kapag ganun, level 4 sila. Kaya naging 1 million per head yung presyo, kumbaga, or yung reward para sa pagpatay sa kanila. Tas dahil 3 sila, kaya 3 million. Tama po ba, Mr. Chair?
Hindi ko po alam, Mr. Chair, hindi ko nakita kung magkano kung talagang mayroon pong na-classify sila kung anong level, ay hindi ko po nakita kasi.